Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're zeroing in on something a lot of you are probably thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Getting monetized on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to, build a presence or maybe even just a side gig, figuring out how to actually get there, it can feel like trying to solve a puzzle with just a ton of conflicting pieces.
It absolutely can, yeah. There's just so much info flying around, and it's really tough sometimes to know what's actually effective and what's just noise.
So our mission in this deep dive is to try and cut through some of that confusion. We're going to unpack a real-world experience from a creator, Shirley Lowe. She actually got monetized with, get this, only 2 main videos.
Wow, 2! That's impressive.
Right. She calls her strategy the lazy girl method.
Yeah.
And honestly, it pushes back against a lot of the common wisdom about what it takes. Shirley's background is interesting, too. She's got a background in clinical psychology.
Okay.
And her channel focuses on helping women become their best.
That psychology background probably helps, I bet. Understanding motivation, what makes people tick.
Yeah.
That likely played a role in her approach. We'll probably see that.
Yeah, I think so, too. Our main source is basically a YouTube transcript where Shirley just shares her own story. What she tried that completely bombed, and then what finally clicked for her to get monetized pretty quickly. Okay, let's dig in.
Let's do it.
So one of the first big myths Shirley tackles is this whole idea of quantity over quality. You hear it constantly, just post, worry about quality later.
Oh, yeah, that's everywhere. Just get the reps in. The thinking is, consistent uploads help you learn, help the algorithm find you. Volume is key, or so they say.
But Shirley's first attempt totally blew that up.
Yeah.
She tried posting weekly, like the advice says, but she admits the videos just weren't good. And the result...
Big guess. Crickets.
Pretty much. Not much traction at all. She put it really bluntly. Something like 100 videos that are really bad quality that nobody watches is still 100 videos that nobody watches.
Huh. Yeah, that's direct. But true. It really cuts to the heart of it, doesn't it? Bad content is bad content no matter how much of it there is.
Exactly. And she realized trying to hit that weekly deadline meant she was rushing her ideas, the editing wasn't great, and bottom line, she just wasn't proud of the work. It actually made her less motivated. Isn't that kind of backward?
It really highlights something important psychologically. If you don't feel good about what you're creating, that lack of satisfaction, it can totally kill your drive. It's just hard to keep going when you're not proud of the output.
Totally. So she made a switch, a conscious choice. Only post when she felt she had something actually valuable to say, and critically, when she could make something that met her own quality standards. And then what happened?
Things started looking up, I'm guessing. Views, watch time.
Bingo. That's when she saw a real positive shift. It kind of suggested being intentional, putting care into fewer videos, might actually work better for engaging people than just churning stuff out.
Quality over quantity, for real then.
Which kind of leads perfectly into the next point, sustainable posting schedules. That pressure, that weekly hamster wheel she mentioned, sounds exhausting, like a recipe for burnout.
Oh, absolutely. That constant demand for new is incredibly draining, especially if you're juggling YouTube with, life. Burnout is so real, and it can just stop you in your tracks.
Shirley's advice here is refreshingly simple, actually. Your schedule has to be sustainable for you. It needs to fit your life so you can make good stuff without completely frying yourself. She really puts the emphasis on the you.
Yeah, that's a much more personalized and realistic way to look at it. Everyone's different, right? Different circumstances, different creative flows. A rigid schedule just doesn't work for everyone.
She even threw in some practical tips, like batch writing scripts and batch filming, just to build in some breathing room.
Oh, batching is a lifesaver, seriously.
Right. Getting a few videos in the can definitely takes that weekly pressure off, gives you a buffer.
Totally. And it lets you focus your energy better. You're not constantly scrambling for next week's video, so you can refine things more. Plus, life happens, right? Batching gives you that flexibility.
Okay, let's switch gears. The equipment question. This comes up all the time. Do you need fancy gear to start? The common advice is usually, nah, your phone's fine. Shirley's take is a bit more nuanced.
Right. She doesn't say everyone needs to drop $1,000 on a camera immediately, but she asks this really basic question like, would you rather watch a blurry video or a clear one?
Huh. Yeah, it's pretty obvious when you put it like that.
Exactly. So while she's not pushing expensive gear on everyone, she does point out that looking professional matters. She said something like, the sooner you can seem like a really professional YouTuber, the sooner you will get there.
Interesting. So there's a perception thing happening.
Definitely. Good visuals can subconsciously tell viewers, hey, this person's serious, this content is probably valuable. It adds that layer of trust, of professionalism.
She also drew a line between her situation and maybe someone like the Wizard Liz she mentioned. Someone already huge on TikTok before hitting YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
For someone like that, maybe the initial video quality isn't as crucial because they already have this built-in audience who's there for them.
Exactly. That existing audience is a huge advantage. They're already bought in, so they might forgive rougher edges early on. They're there for the personality or the specific skill, maybe less for the slick production initially.
What's kind of fascinating is Shirley actually bought her camera before she was even posting consistently.
Oh, really? That's unusual.
Yeah. For her, she said it wasn't a financial stretch, and it actually worked as a motivator. Like, having spent the money made her feel she had to make good videos to justify it.
Huh. Using commitment bias to your advantage. That's clever. But risky, maybe?
Oh, for sure. She puts a big caveat on that. Only if you can afford it and you're really serious. Otherwise, it's just adding pressure you don't need. So definitely not advice for everyone.
Right, right. Good disclaimer. What about editing software?
She suggested starting simple, like iMovie, which is often free on Apple stuff, then maybe level up later to something like Final Cut Pro, or she mentioned CapCut as a more affordable option that's still pretty powerful.
Good progression. Start easy, then grow.
And she had a neat tip. Final Cut Pro apparently uses similar keyboard shortcuts to iMovie, so the jump isn't quite as jarring if you go that route.
Oh, that is helpful. Makes the transition less intimidating. Starting with something accessible like iMovie or CapCut is key, though. Shows you don't need the super expensive pro stuff right out of the gate.
Okay, let's talk about content strategy. Shirley calls this the fastest shortcut to monetization, jumping on timely, trendy stuff. She contrasts it with evergreen content.
Right. Evergreen is like the stuff that's always relevant. How-to guides, basic explanations, build slow, steady traffic over time, usually.
Yeah, great for the long haul, but maybe slow to get monetized. Trendy content, though.
Yeah.
That's tapping into what people are searching for right now.
Exactly. Current events, viral trends, memes, whatever's hot, you ride that wave of immediate interest.
She mentioned things like trending TikTok sounds or news stories as examples.
By latching onto that existing buzz, you can get discovered way faster. More eyeballs, more watch time, which is what you need for monetization.
Her own examples really drive it home. She had that Dissenter Men video, clearly playing off a trend. And another one about Blake Lively, where she connected some celebrity drama back to her main topic of self-improvement. Pretty smart.
That's the key, right? Finding that angle where the trend meets your niche, making it relevant to your audience while still catching that wider wave.
And we got to remember the actual goalposts here. 1,000 subscribers, yeah, but also 4,000 watch hours in the last year.
Right, that 365-day window is crucial.
Shirley really emphasized that those watch hours expire. So it's not just about hitting the numbers once. You need that sustained engagement. Trendy content can give you a big boost towards that initial 4,000 hours.
Totally. It keeps the momentum going. Okay, so trendy topics help. What about picking your actual niche? The usual advice is pick one thing, right? Be super specific.
Yeah, niche down till it hurts sometimes. But Shirley kind of questions that. Says it can be too limiting.
I get that. The idea is to attract a dedicated audience, be the go-to person for X. But yeah, what if you're interested in X, Y, and Z, or you run out of ideas for just X?
Exactly. And she points out, you probably have multiple interests, but guess what? So does your audience. Like her example, someone might be into fashion and makeup. Why force them to choose?
It's a more holistic view of the audience, isn't it? People aren't usually defined by just one single interest. So if the topics are related, maybe you can cover a slightly broader range.
Her own approach was clever wording. Instead of listing like makeup, fashion, lifestyle, psychology, feminism, all the things she talks about,
Yeah.
she just used the umbrella term womanhood.
Ah, okay. That's smart. Gives it a clear focus at connecting thread, but still allows for variety within that theme. Doesn't box her in.
She mentioned James Charles, too. Known for makeup, right? But people watch his other stuff because they like him.
Right. The personality becomes the niche, almost. Once people connect with you, they're often happy to follow you into related areas.
So her final advice on niche seems to be, pick something you're genuinely into, something you won't get bored of, something you can actually see yourself making lots of videos about. Seems sensible.
Yeah, passion and genuine interest have to be there. If you're faking it, people can tell, and you'll burn out trying to keep it up.
Okay, let's talk vibe. The look, the feel, the editing. Shirley says personality and editing style make a huge difference.
Oh, massive. That's how you stand out, right? In this ocean of videos, your unique style and personality, that's what grabs people and makes them remember you.
She was really open about feeling awkward on camera at first. English is her second language, which added another layer. Her big helpers, scripts and teleprompters.
Game changers for a lot of people, especially if you're nervous or, yeah, speaking a non-native language, takes the pressure off remembering everything, lets you deliver more smoothly.
She actually recommends writing scripts out word for word and practicing saying the sentences out loud so they don't sound, robotic.
Good tip. That preparation helps you sound natural even though you're reading. Reduces the ums and ahs, helps you focus on connecting.
Her little mental trick for comfort. Imagine you're talking to a friend. Or just pretend nobody's ever going to see the video anyway.
Huh. Yeah, whatever works to lower those stakes and let your real self come through, that authenticity is key.
And for editing. Her advice for beginners is basically, find YouTubers you like, whose vibe matches what you want, and kind of copy them at first.
Imitation as a learning tool. Makes sense.
Yeah. See how they do things, try it out. Then over time, you start mixing in your own ideas, developing your own signature style, like learning guitar by playing cover songs before writing your own.
Exactly. You learn the techniques, figure out what works, what feels right for you and your content. Then your own creativity takes over.
Okay, last big piece,
Mm-hmm.
branding. Shirley says this is important even when you're tiny, just starting out.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the packaging for your channel.
It helps people instantly get what you're about and what they can expect if they subscribe.
Creates that cohesive look and feel, builds recognition and trust.
What are the key bits she mentioned? Like a consistent color scheme and aesthetic, same fonts on banners and thumbnails, a good profile pic, even the font choice, she said, sends a message.
Totally. Is it playful, elegant, bold? All those little visual details add up to create the overall brand perception, makes you look more polished, more professional.
She laughed about her own early thumbnails being all over the place, said it was confusing even for her.
Yeah, inconsistency can make a channel look messy or unfocused.
Right.
Harder for people to recognize your stuff in their feed.
So the main point is, even if you only have like 2 videos up, good branding, a nice banner, clear profile pic, good description, it signals you're serious.
Yeah.
Tells people, hey, stick around, more good stuff is coming.
That first impression matters so much. If the shop window looks good, people are more likely to come inside, right?
Yeah.
Even if there isn't much stock on the shelves yet, it shows potential.
All right, so let's try and quickly wrap up Shirley Lou's lazy girl strategy. Number 1, quality over quantity, especially at the start.
Right. Make good stuff first.
2, find a posting schedule that actually works for you, that you can sustain.
Avoid that burnout.
3, think strategically about gear. Maybe invest sooner rather than later if you can, and if it motivates you, but don't break the bank.
Be smart about it.
4, use timely, trendy topics. That's the shortcut to getting noticed faster.
Ride the wave.
5, niche. Think broadly, but give it a smart umbrella term maybe. Make sure you're actually interested.
Womanhood, yeah.
Yeah.
Find your focus, but allow flexibility.
6, let your personality shine. Use scripts if you need to, practice, and find an editing style that feels like you.
Be authentic.
And 7, branding matters from day one. Colors, fonts, profile pictures, make it look cohesive and professional.
Look the part, yeah. These are really solid takeaways and kind of refreshing alternatives to some of the standard hustle culture advice. It really emphasizes being intentional, caring about the craft, and thinking strategically, less about just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to remember, everyone's path is different. What smashed it for Shirley might need tweaking for you. But her approach definitely gives you some, less frantic options to consider.
For sure. That focus on making stuff you're proud of and doing it sustainably, that's powerful advice for any creator.
So maybe something for you listening to think about. Which one of these lazy girl ideas clicks the most for you right now? Where could you start? Is it really nailing that quality on your next project? Or maybe finding a timely trend you can jump on? Or perhaps just spending an afternoon sorting out your channel's branding? Definitely some food for thought. Thanks for taking this deep dive with